For my final project, I wanted to look at the nonverbal communication within a jewelry store, specifically territory and environment, physical appearance, and olfactics. So Wildstone is a jewelry brand created by me and my two best friends. We make pieces with stones and beads that we've already found, and then I also make rings out of spoons. Wildstone already exists, but it's my dream to make it a physical store one day, so this project explores the nonverbal aspects that would be involved if the store existed. To start off, looking at the outside of the store and the details, the outside of the store would have the logo Wildstone, which claims the space as our own, and then the warmth of the store is going to begin with the floor and the walls. So the floor being this wood creates an environment that feels more casual over formal. When you walk on wood, it's going to be a quieter material as opposed to something like tile that is like shiny, it draws your attention in. Wood is more quiet in that way. And then the walls being this cream color adds warmth rather than it being like a very bright, cool toned white. The cream has a little bit of warmth in that color. Having an entrance with windows to see in reduces privacy, which is going to invite customers inside, allow them to get curious from the outside of the store. And those windows are going to bring in a lot of sunlight, which adds warmth and light to the space. My hope is for this location to be on King Street and Boone, where there's already a lot of foot traffic. So this would attract a variety of different people in this spot, like tourists, students, locals, and more. Next is the physical work itself. The appearance of the work is key because the jewelry has to be physically attractive in order for it to sell. The jewelry we make has a specific audience. It's really made for those who appreciate the outdoors because it's created to withstand wear. And the physical appearance is really tied to personality. So our audience has this specific personality trait. We want them to appreciate nature, appreciate the stones and things around them that we put into the jewelry itself. And then necklaces can be created for any body type because they're larger. They don't need to necessarily fit tightly, but earrings are only made for those body alterations as piercings. So that customer is going to be more specific. And on average, women have more piercings than men, so naturally our audience is going to be mostly women, and that is who we're going to tailor to. I believe that having a studio space in the back of the store would really set this shop apart from other stores. The back will be separated by these curtains, so it's not necessarily a whole separate space because the curtain can easily be opened rather than a door, which really makes it two separate areas. And it'll be less formal because nothing is sold in there. It's a workspace, which really, it changes the environment as soon as you walk in because there doesn't need to be art on the walls or anything to attract customers. This becomes a really interactional territory that is going to promote creativity because this space is more than just a place to buy jewelry, but for the employees to create the jewelry, and then customers would also be welcome in the back, and they can actually see how each piece is made. And then in terms of olfactics, there will be incense and candles around the front of the store, which is going to create that warmth, and the store will have the same sense to create this experience. It becomes an iconic thing that you remember once you leave the store that, oh, that store smells good. So I would use lavender and musk just because those are my favorites, and I think that lavender is really a calming space. Incense creates more of an experience than candles because the smoke is going to be moving around, and that creates another thing to look at. And then all of the scents I would want to be equally as decorative as they are useful. So the candles will have a specific appearance as the pictures depict, that they're really pretty. Next is the walls and displays, which are really important to the territory and environment. So I would have a mirror wall that would really promote customers to try on items so that they could see what it looks like on. I would also use a type of drawer system that would be used for stones for customers to look at, and they can look through those. And this also creates a really interactional space. They're interacting with the store itself rather than just looking around and not looking through things. Around the store will be small tables for displays of jewelry rather than big displays. And then cases will be around the store for stones and rings, like the top right picture, but I want everything to be easily accessible. I don't want anything in cases that are needed to be opened with a key. I would also have minimal artwork, but a big tapestry and a rug. Those create a fun environment, and I would also have them have like this specific color palette of pinks and greens and some muted tones so that they're not drawing your attention away from the jewelry, but they are adding to the space. And all of these features are semi-fixed, so they allow the store to change often, and that creates a completely new environment when it's changed. The way that the jewelry is displayed is really important for the environment. I would want to have the jewelry easily accessible so that people feel comfortable picking it up and trying it on. This goes back to what I said earlier. I don't want any display cases where you would have to have a key or have to have someone pick it up for you. I think it's really interesting, like the lower left corner, to have trees, rocks, plants in the space because it brings those jewelry pieces back to the environment that we found them in. And then the earrings I would have hung to show how they look on your ear, because if they're laying down, they look a little different than how they would look on your ear. And then having the items laid out rather than in boxes, it creates a really casual environment where it's easy to put back. People would feel comfortable trying things on, which is really what I would want. I want people to feel comfortable, and that can promote conversation as well. Next is the checkout desk and the main display. These are more fixed features because they're going to be larger, but I would have the checkout desk on the left and this big display table in the middle if the room is a square, so that this would create a natural path for people to walk around the store in a circle. You're going to walk in, go to your right, go to the table, look at the walls, and then end on the left at that checkout, because that's the last thing you do. So it wouldn't make sense to have the desk be on the right when you walk right in and you're at the desk. And then I would have decorations like flowers and glasses to create that casual aspect, and then it also creates that scent at checkout. And then I would also have the wrapping supplies be up front for convenience, and this would also promote conversation between customers and employees so that they can wrap the items to their liking. Having the displays be this sort of wood, it creates a more rustic feel. It doesn't feel super formal, it's more casual. When talking about jewelry, you have to address physical appearance. This is why I made a slide for rings in specific, because rings are so tied to our physical appearance, because your fingers have to be a certain size to fit. Like I said earlier, our audience is mainly women, so most of our rings are going to be 6 through 8 with a couple of 9s, and the rings themselves have this very unique appearance because they're made out of spoons. So they're going to be larger than a typical ring, and they're not, the most dainty. They're made to withstand wear and be more of a statement piece. And rings are really an accessory that can be used to express oneself and personality, as well as the rest of the jewelry, but your hands are on display at all times. So if you're wearing rings, those are really an accessory for your personality. The last aspect I wanted to talk about tied to physical appearance is social media, and I included this short video that I made because having an online presence is so tied to physical appearance nowadays. The brand's physical appearance is online. So someone can interact with the brand online, and this is why aesthetics are highly important. And this is also a video that I made. It's on the Instagram currently, and it just displays who we are as creators, as friends, and it sells an image of the type of people that are wearing the pieces, and you also get an inside look at who the creators are beyond at the store. Thank you for listening.